Antwerp, Belgium. February 2003. Thieves break into the vault at the Antwerp Diamond Center and escape with more than $100 million in gold, diamonds, and other precious items. According to authorities, the vault was impenetrable, featuring the most advanced high-tech security in the world. It is called the heist of the century, and even now, no one is certain how it was done. But if such a secure facility could be breached, could the vast gold reserves at Fort Knox be equally vulnerable?
People have done everything that you can imagine in order to acquire gold, and some things that are best left to the imagination.
Officially, the Treasury Department acknowledges only a single attempt to break into Fort Knox. The perpetrator? Goldfinger.
I think you've made your point, Goldfinger. Thank you for the demonstration.
James Bond's arch nemesis from the 1964 hit movie.
Do you expect me to talk?
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
For the movie's producers, the challenge was clear. How best to portray Fort Knox and its top-secret interior?
They, of course, like everybody else, asked if they could get in. The request was denied. So the word goes to the production design department. What's the interior of Fort Knox going to look like? We need to draw something up. And one of the James Bond producers somewhat famously remarked, what he wants to see is a cathedral of gold. There were, of course, a number of people who thought that Goldfinger was allowed to film inside of Fort Knox. But the reality, of course, is just very different.
Just how accurate was the film's portrayal of Fort Knox? Doug Simmons is one of the few former Fort Knox employees willing to speak on the record about what it's like behind the depository's forbidden walls.
Goldfinger, when Bond goes into the building, you can see through all the floors and see the gold. Of course, when we got in there, it turned out to be just a standard, typical United States government boring facility. It's an impressive building, but nothing like Goldfinger.
Questions concerning the actual security at Fort Knox are so classified that despite requests, no Treasury Department official will address them.
Fort Knox is so protected, I don't believe a fly could get in there. It is one of the most secure areas in the United States.
What is known about the depository security begins at the perimeter. 4 layers of fence and a lawn of more than 100 yards surround the depository. Enough room for minefields and tripwires and automated guns. Guard shacks provide 360-degree coverage and maximum firing capabilities. The windows are fake, disguising barriers of Kevlar and steel. Even the cover of darkness is used to defend the structure.
Various lighting techniques have been used so that the gold vault actually disappears at night.
To step inside the building is to enter a maze of 21,000 cubic feet of granite and concrete, and more than 1,400 tons of steel. Past offices that line the first floor is the elevator that leads to the gold vault below. The vault door is 21 inches thick and weighs more than 20 tons. To unlock it requires multiple Treasury officials, each with a unique secret combination. Once inside, the vault is divided into individual cells said to measure 10 feet by 10 feet, stacked from floor to ceiling with gold. But are there still other, more secret security measures that protect the gold?
As to the deterrence, gas does exist, so that if the door or the lock is attacked in such a way as to activate the gas charge, it would fill up that room.
There's multiple rumors about the gold vault. One of them is that it can be flooded, and that is backed up by the original newspaper clippings from the 1930s. It was designed after a method used by the Bank of France. Now, whether that feature was incorporated in the final construction, only the Treasury Department knows, and they're not saying.
If I tell you what surprised me most about Fort Knox, it's going to blow your socks off. It's the fact that there are escape tunnels inside the facility. Nobody talks about them. They had to do that as a safety precaution because the vaults have 72-hour time locks on them, and if they're shut, they're stuck for 3 days. If this doesn't get you outside the building, it doesn't get you outside the perimeter. This is just to get you from an interior vault into an exterior vault.
Yet ever since the depository was constructed in 1937, rumors have persisted about its vulnerabilities, including this never-before-revealed letter. In 1998, local Fort Knox historian Paul Urbans received a letter from a private investigator in Durango, Colorado. The investigator claimed to represent a man who, as a child, helped police apprehend a murderer in possession of stolen bars of Fort Knox gold. The year was 1946.
The judge allowed him to return to Fort Knox when they returned some of the Fort Knox gold that these criminals had stolen to the gold depository. His description of the facility was quite credible. Whether it's true or not, I don't know.
Does this letter reveal that Fort Knox security has been breached? Could its gold have been stolen? Are these claims real? The U.S. government has never acknowledged the disappearance of any Fort Knox gold. Yet can any vault ever be 100% secure?
In my opinion, there's no such thing as an impregnable vault. Given the opportunity, time, means, you can circumvent just about anything.
Today, the motives to destroy or rob Fort Knox are many, including the very real possibility of a terrorist attack.
In the 70s and 80s, we would drive right up to the depository. There was one wrought iron fence, and now there's multiple fences and concrete barricades. They might have ground-to-air missiles, pop-up guns, and who knows what's out there. The guards used to tell me, you'll get in, but you'll never get out alive.